Welcome to the fight game. He's Icewater, I'm Puma. And let's talk about the Canelo upcoming fight or possible upcoming fight with Benavidez. Canelo says he didn't even hear from Benavidez. Benavidez said this guy is scared to fight. So what's going on here, man?
Well, I mean, it's back and forth. Initially, the PBC came up with a certain amount of money they wanted to provide for Canelo for a two-fight deal with PBC, and one of the fights was going to include Benavidez on the back end at the end of the year, right? And now it's apparent that Canelo is coming out and saying it's going to take 150 to 200 million dollars for him to fight Benavidez. And I think the reason behind that is because we also have seen for a while now that the folks over in Saudi Arabia that have been backing boxing have been spending a pretty penny on that. So I think Canelo's trying to get into the game where I don't think he's ever really dealt with them before, and he's trying to get into the game of getting this large money. So $150 million to 200 million dollars. He wants to say this: I'll fight Benavidez, and they're like, "You crazy as heck? We're not doing that." But what I did hear is that they are interested, the Saudis, because I think they have a fight in light heavyweight that they're interested. They're interested in doing something really significant. I think they're behind the backing of Beterbiev and Baval are going to fight in June, and they're now saying that instead of paying Canelo all this money, they would prefer to have the winner of Beterbiev and Baval to face David Benavidez. That would be one hell of a match. One, because Benavidez, as most people have been watching boxing lately or in the last few years, has been looking for some true recognition, right? Something outside either, I wouldn't say the same level as Canelo, but he wants some major respect. So if you can't fight Canelo, he said, I'm going to move up to 175 and fight one of these premier champions. And if he can handle his business and defeat Baval, let's say Baval wins. Baval, who beat Canelo, now you're like, now what?
Right.
I beat the man that beat you. There and not only if he wins or he faces one of these guys and he beats Baval, then the money there's going to be an outcry for him to fight Canelo, and the money is going to be astronomical for him. So in a way, for Benavidez, who's taking a major risk moving up, and I think that's what he mentioned before. I didn't really think about this plan, but the plan is that he would take a fight against a light heavyweight prior to this potential matchup, kind of get his feet wet, which is amazing because he's willing to take that chance to be considered. As they say, you're taking a chance to be great. He's taking that chance. But I think Canelo's starting to see now that, yeah, we like you, we think you're cool, we recognize you have a spot in the boxing legacy. We're not going to pay an astronomical, crazy amount to soothe your ego. We'll go another route and make just as much money, if not more, without you.
Yeah, and that would put Canelo in a tight spot because Benavidez was saying, "Hey, you're afraid to fight me. You're saying that you didn't hear anything about a fight with me, and so if he beat the guy that beat him, then okay, what are you gonna say? Are you want to fight, or you still want to talk?" And now he can control how much money to make in that fight and what the split should be. I think it's a good move, to be perfectly honest with you. And you know, I think the days of Canelo kind of still trying to pick those fights is getting really, really old right now. People recognize that. And if you want to be considered one of the best fighters ever, you got to fight the folks that are on top. And there's no way around it. And so, I'll say that about any fighter. The great fighters that I always looked up to fought the best that were out there. And that's what I want to see in this current boxing pool. Let's talk about Tszyu and Fundora. And so we talked a little bit about this last week, and I talked about Fundora's style. I don't really like his boxing style, and I'm not really. We talked a little bit about this offline. I'm not really kind of pushing up Tszyu and saying he's this great fighter, but I see Fundora not using what his advantages are and stepping right into what Tszyu is really good at doing. And if I look at this fight and had to make a prediction, I would have to go with Tszyu at this particular point. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I get that. I understand that where you say to Zoo, it's almost as if Fedora being so big and trying to fight in a phone booth type of idea, type of approach is stepping right into the plan that his opponent will be looking at. So Tszyu would love to have that fight because he knows that Fedora's gonna come right at him. I think early on Fedora would try to box and use that little jab, but as soon as he gets hit a couple times, he's gonna throw some leather. And he can't. I don't think he can really help himself. He try to fight styles, but after a while, I start getting rocked, and it's like nah. But I can see why you would think that Tszyu would have the advantage because he, like you said, the opponent's playing right into his hands. But Fundora can punch,
Yeah.
and I know it's a wild card or might be a long shot, but I think it's gonna be interesting. I I want to see, even though we might get knocked out, I want to see Fundora trade with with Tim Tszyu. I do, I do. I think if you ask Lubin,
What would it prove? What would it prove?
huh?
What would it prove?
I mean, he might get lucky. He might get a shot. He might. He might. He might get a shot. He might. I mean, what? You already took the chance. Again, like I said, it is the advantage does go to to Zoo, right? But we all know what we want to see. We want to see Zoo in a match with somebody of a boxer caliber, Charlo, Crawford, whomever else that can move around and give him the business and see if he can handle that. Because against Mendoza, I mean, he talked about, oh, I was gonna get him out of there, but he was running. I'm like Keith Thurman said, you want me to stand right here and don't move so you can hit me? I think a boxer gives him major trouble. But hey, he you can't take anything from away from Tszyu. He's winning. He's on top. He has that legacy of his dad, and he's doing well living off of it. Till you fight a boxer. Anyway, just my opinion.
That's this Saturday, and it's for the unified junior middleweight title. I look for Fedora to move around a little bit, try to box him, try to give him some angles, things of that sort. But like you said earlier, he can't help himself once he gets hit. The game plan goes out the window, and I think that's what Tszyu and their camp they're going to be counting on. And I'm not going to say he's going to knock out Fedora. I'm just going to say that it should be a unanimous decision. If Fedora doesn't change up his boxing style, use that jab, keep him at length, and just control the fight. We have another fight, Taylor and Contrell, and it seems like these guys are fighting all the time. I think this is the second time that they're fighting. What are your thoughts on this fight?
Great matchup the first time. Just two guys keep going at each other. I think Josh Taylor's trying to really get back. Last time out, he's been struggling with being on the even par with the bigger names, right? Can think about it from that standpoint. And when he fought Teofimo Lopez, he's just been trying to climb back. So this is a fight that he really needs to kind of keep his name in the mix for a bigger fight. And I think he's gonna go after Cottrell, but Cottrell is a guy that doesn't stop. He's always coming forward. It's almost like I would say two even kill guys. And guys on that little the little lower level or lower tier
Hmm.
that really fighting, scrapping, trying to see who gets a chance to get their next call out when things are moving around. And the winner will still be in the mix. And there's a lot of movement up in that class, and they might get a real big shot if they were able to secure this win.
Yeah, so there are two fights coming up on June 1st. They have Arthur Beterbiev versus Bivol. And then, is this a boxing match? I thought this was going to be an MMA kind of exhibition. You got Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. Is this a boxing match, or because they have it listed in boxing?
Yeah, I know, and maybe it's a boxing match. Then that's why we said it was entertainment. Maybe it's boxing from the standpoint of I'm gonna box you, and maybe that's what Nate Diaz is why he signed on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be interested, and we'll try to find out some more information about that particular fight. But when I saw that on a boxing schedule, I'm like, wait a minute, are they boxing or are they doing an MMA
So
exhibition.
they're gonna have that, and they're gonna have Floyd versus Pacquiao, and it's gonna be
Uh, all right, better be even Bivol. Two champions, undisputed lightweight, heavyweight titles at stake, and I don't know about this one. I can't call this one right now. I got to see some more stuff, some more evidence, training, whatever they're doing. I got to look at some more fights. But I love Bivol, and I love what he did to Carnelo. And I can't really see anybody beating him. But better be, I don't know. I don't know. What's your thoughts, man?
I think it's a great matchup. When they finally announced it, I was happy because of the factor that these guys are just two tough guys, right? And they're matter of fact in their styles. Better be, you want to stay away from him because he can really hurt you. But Bivol is so smooth. He just comes in and he's a no nonsense type dude. He can adjust. He'll box you a little bit, and then his style is gonna be his style. And after a while, it's like boom, boom, and you go like, he doesn't say much. He doesn't say really anything. He just uses his style to start to dominate. And I think that's going to be a nice contrast in styles because Benavidez not going anywhere. He's going to come forward. But I think Ball is like, he kind of smooth with it. He just does some different things. And before you know it, you're like, man, he's just like dominating. So the two of them coming together is amazing. And then, of course, the caveat is if the winner goes on to fight David Benavidez, I think that's just even more sauce on it, man, because Benavidez is trying to be great. I mean, literally trying to be great. If you want to be great, and nobody, the guy you seeing is you're chasing them want to fight you, then you chase the guy that beat him, and then at that point you sit on top, and there's nothing at that point Canelo can really say because all the cards are gonna be on the table, and the real fight is gonna be that. It's like I beat the guy that beat you, and you still don't want to see me. What else I got to do?
Hmm.
And Canelo will come out. I'm no punk, that whatever. And at that point, that money gonna talk, and the BS is gonna walk.
Right. Any other boxing news we should be aware of?
Just looking at a couple of things. That Lomachenko Kambosos fight. I think I want to see that. Even though I think Lomachenko may run through him, and we just really want to know: are we going to really see? We haven't heard much from them. They've been quiet. Devin Haney versus Brian Garcia, and that's coming up in April. And the more quiet that it is, the more one thinks that it may not be happening. It's because it's so quiet. We heard all this explosion and all this loudness and this uproar, and all of a sudden now it's like so. It's almost like a whisper. You don't hear anything about it, but like I said, it's amazing. Adrian Broner said he'll step in, and not only and AB said, well, you kind of think that's a joke, but Shakira said, yeah, I'll fight him too.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that Shakur Stevenson says that. And of course, now Bill Haney says, oh, we can't make no money with Shakur. Are you kidding me?
Well, with the Ryan Garcia situation, you're hearing things like the camp doesn't even want him to
Mm-hmm.
fight at this particular point, and the fans are like, work on your mental health, dude, because he did some alarming things in the last few weeks. So here's what I think is going to happen. It's going to come up to maybe 2 or 1 week before the fight, and then it's not going to happen because I think something else is going to happen where it leads you to question the mental health of Ryan Garcia, and maybe somebody will step in and say this fight can't happen. It won't be probably at his, from his mouth, but it might be from his camp's mouth and saying, we're not going to put our fighter out there. It's not the time. We need to postpone this fight. That's what I'm thinking.
No, I agree with you 100%. See, to me, I think that questionable behaviors already began, right? And I say that from the standpoint when Ryan Garcia kind of lesbians came out, yeah, I've been smoking and I can do everything. Everybody smoke. And right then and there, when you are that close to a fight and you're in preparation for a fight in a training camp, that should tell you what you need to know. Right then, they should have been like, "Now they should have tested. If he tested positive, they should have just canceled it because it's telling you that he's not in the right frame of mind. If he's smoking, there's no way you can be ready to get ready for a championship fight, especially against Devin Haney. So if he's already on that mindset, already doing those things, why even move forward with it? And maybe that's what it might come down to.
Yeah, I saw a video with Ryan Garcia Jr. and I guess it's his trainer just sitting there watching him, and he's going through slow motion like movements, and his trainer's looking at him like, this is not training. What are you doing? You're not. We're not training. You're just. What are you up to? What's on your mind? We need to be training hard for this fight. It's not a pushover fight. And you could just see the frustration in his trainer's face. Like, I don't know what you're doing, dude, and I don't know if you're focused on fighting. And they say a picture, you know, has 1,000 stories to it, and that was 1,000 stories to me, where he's just kind of moving slowly and all, kind of. I'm like, what the, and it wasn't in slow motion. It was just he was, it's almost like he was slowing down. I don't know what he was doing, but I never seen a boxer do that before. So that led me to believe that this dude ain't ready. He's Icewater. I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.